What's up, boys and girls? It's Hayden Schaap. I'm back with the final segment of Habit 2 of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. What are the 7 habits of highly effective people? Well, I feel like the power of this book might actually be masked behind the simplicity of its title. And maybe that's a metaphor for life. Like the most powerful things you could be doing in your life are maybe hidden behind some simplicity. And maybe obviousness too. But they're the things that yield the greatest results. Effectiveness, as Covey defines it, is the ability to live a life in synergy with the people you love and care about most, thereby achieving actual happiness and meaning in your life. So the habits of effectiveness are the things that, when you incorporate into your very character, will lead you to not only have optimal results in all of the things that you say you care about, but to align those results with true principles so that you have this sort of, I guess you could view it as like everlasting sense of meaning and happiness, and really an immortal one too, because you end up leaving a legacy that will benefit people far beyond your actual current life, which, I mean, that's happening with me right now, and Covey, who's passed away a few years ago. So I am obsessed right now, and maybe this will change, but like I think that my life's kind of work and mission is to help people understand how to persuade and influence at a very high level using truth-based principles. And that goes into everything about like manipulating your body language, tone of voice, and who you are as a person, really, to become someone that can actually help people. I'm also obsessed with character-based personal development. So like truth-based personal development that makes, what can you do in your life that makes you to optimize who you actually are from a health standpoint, from a psychological standpoint, and even getting into some biology so that you become the best version of yourself. I guess it's all really biology starts there. And then also character-based and truth-based leadership, and how do you go help others do the same? That's what we're talking about. And if you guys like what I'm doing, please subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with others, and definitely, if you really like it, give it a 5-star on Apple and Spotify, and share it with people that might need to hear some of this good stuff. The last part we're going to talk about here in Habit 2 is your roles and your goals. This is where we bridge the gap between, okay, I know that I'm the creator of my life, therefore I can go do whatever I want. If I can actually go pick and choose the things that I want to do in my life and like have no restraints, because I've owned my past, I own therefore the responsibility for the future. I'm the creator. Okay, now what are we going to create? And okay, cool. How do we bridge that into actual creation? And that's where we're at here with this next part in the 7 habits. So we're going to get into this part that he calls identifying roles and goals. And we talked about visualization on this last one, but I really want to get into, this is the final piece before we get into habit 3, which is, all right, now this is personal leadership is what we're in habit 2. How do you lead yourself? Make sure that you're in the right jungle so that every tree you cut down is not just cutting down the wrong trees faster. How do you make sure that you're in the right jungle? How do you make sure your ladder is leaning against the right wall so that every step you take is not just getting you to the wrong place faster? And then identifying roles and goals. That's going to bridge us over, like, I need to make sure that I'm spending my time in the things that I actually care about most once I've determined what those are. So, of course, the logical verbal left brain becomes important as you attempt to capture your right brain images, feelings, and pictures in the words of a written mission statement, this goes back into the visualization. So go watch the previous episodes or listen to them. Just as breathing exercises help integrate the body and the mind, writing is a kind of psychoneuromuscular activity that helps bridge and integrate the conscious and subconscious minds. Ooh, I like that. That's cool. It sounds very, let me move this out of the way so you can see. Just as breathing exercises help integrate body and mind, writing is a kind of psychoneuromuscular activity that helps bridge and integrate the conscious and subconscious minds. Writing distills, crystallizes, and clarifies thought and helps break the whole into parts. Boom, baby. Okay. I may, for example, have a role as an individual, a husband, a father, a teacher, a church member, and a businessman, and each of those roles is important. One of the major problems that arises when people work to become more effective in life is that they don't think broadly enough. They lose the sense of proportion, the balance, the natural ecology necessary to effective living. That may get consumed by work and neglect personal health in the name of professional success. They may neglect the most precious relationships in their lives. You may find that your mission statement will be much more balanced, much easier to work with if you break it into the specific role or areas of your life and the goals you want to accomplish in each area. Look at your professional role. You might be a salesperson. Bingo. And hope, a lot of my reps that are listening to this, you are definitely salespeople. And the cool thing is like this doesn't just apply to salespeople, because if it passes the stress test of a true principle, then that would dictate that it applies to everything. In my opinion, how you do anything is how you do everything, and the principles that govern effectiveness in anything also govern the principles of effectiveness in everything. You may find that your mission statement will be much more balanced, much easier to work with if you break it down into specific areas of your life and the goals you want to accomplish in each area. Look at your professional role. You might be a salesperson or a manager or a product developer. What are you about in that area? What are the values that should guide you? Think of your personal roles: husband, father, mother, neighbor, friend. What are you about in those roles? What's important to you? Think of community roles: the political area, public service, volunteer organizations. One executive has used the idea of roles and goals in creating the following mission statement: my mission is to live with integrity and to make a difference in the lives of others. Ooh, that's such a good mission. Gosh. To fulfill that mission. So now he's saying my broad mission, the thing that I'm about, is this: to live with integrity, to make a difference in the lives of others. So now what? I have charity. I seek out and love the one regardless of his situation. I sacrifice. I devote my time, talents, and resources to my mission. I inspire. I teach by example that we are all children of a loving Heavenly Father and that every Goliath can be overcome. I haven't read this in a while, but I've been working on my mission statement, and it's cool how some of this applies to some of the things that I've been thinking about for my own mission statement. I'm impactful. What I do makes a difference in the lives of others. These roles take priority in achieving my mission. So I like that there's these I am statements, and then he goes into his roles. Husband, my partner is the most important person in my life. Together we contribute the fruits of harmony, industry, charity, and thrift. That's cool. Father, I help my children experience progressively greater joy in their lives. Son and brother, I'm frequently there for support and love. Christian, God can count on me to keep my covenants and to serve his other children. Neighbor, the love of Christ is visible through my actions towards others. Change agent, I'm a catalyst for developing high performance in large organizations. Scholar, I learn important new things every day. That's so cool. Writing your mission in terms of the important roles in your life gives you balance and harmony. It keeps each role clearly before you. You can review your roles frequently to make sure that you don't get totally absorbed by one role to the exclusion of the others that are equally even more important in your life. One of the things that I've been, every sales season I go in and I try to set an audacious goal for myself a year out, with the 5-year really audacious goal in mind. And one of the things that I really enjoy doing is saying, like, okay, if this is the goal, then what are my constraints? And by saying my constraints, what I'm really getting at is like, how could I fail by achieving this goal? And an example is like, if I want to go, I'll use the example for my last, even this is not my goal, but I'm going to use an example for my last one. If I'm a sales leader who wants to make $500,000 and that's my audacious goal for the year, then my constraints would be how I would fail by making $500,000. Well, I would fail by making $500,000 if my marriage was worse for me having done it, even in the short term. So that's a constraint. My constraint is being a good husband. If I have kids and I'm going to make $500,000, my constraint would be not becoming a better husband because of achieving the goal, or a better father because of achieving the goal. That might mean I have less time while I'm achieving it, but what am I going to do that allows me to not break that constraint? That is the constraint, right? And so I basically have realized that whenever I set a goal, usually that goal is only one thing that encompasses many other things. So like it's typically like a money goal, or it's typically a business goal, or an outcome that's impact oriented. And because that is the goal, the constraints are therefore all of the roles in my life that I care about as much as I care about. Well, sorry, the constraints are the real things that matter most to me. It's like if achieving this goal means sacrificing other things, then I don't want it. But I know I can have both, and so therefore that's all these other things are constraints like gravity, right? And I'm imagining that they're as powerful as that. So that's a good way, I think, a healthy way to look at it, so that all of the goals that I set are set through the idea of these constraints. And then you can say like, well, how does achieving this goal actually help me become a better husband? What does doing this way make me able to do for my family in the future? And that's a really, I think, powerful way to think about it. An effective goal focuses primarily on results rather than activity. After you identify your various roles, then you can think about the long-term goals you want to accomplish in each of those roles. Where you're into the right brain again, this is where we're into the right brain again, using imagination, creativity, conscience, and inspiration. If these goals are an extension of the mission statement based on correct principles, they will be vitally different from the goals people normally set. That is so true. So true. They'll be in harmony with correct principles, with the natural laws, which gives you greater power to achieve them. They are not someone else's goals you have absorbed. They are your goals. They reflect your deepest values, your unique talent, your sense of mission, and they grow out of your chosen roles in life. An effective goal focuses primarily on results rather than activity. It identifies where you want to be, and in the process, helps you determine where you are. It gives you important information on how to get there, and it tells you when you have arrived. It unifies your efforts and energy. It gives meaning and purpose to all you do, and finally translates itself into daily activities so that you are proactive. You are in charge of your life. You are making happen each day the things that will enable you to fulfill your personal mission statement. I just read all that without having it on screen. Sorry, guys. Roles and goals give structure and organized direction to your personal mission. If you don't have a personal mission statement, it's a good place to begin. Just identify the various areas in your life and 2 or 3 important results you feel you should accomplish in each area to move ahead. Gives you an overall perspective of your life and a sense of direction. As we move into habit 3, we'll go into greater depth in the area of short-term goals. The important application of this point is to identify roles and long-term goals as they relate to your personal mission statement. These goals and these roles and goals will provide the foundation for an effective goal setting and achieving when we get to habit 3, the day-to-day management of life and time. Family mission statements. Now he's going to get into how to do family mission statements, organizational mission statements, and involving everyone in that process. And I think that that's important, but it really, I think that we are done with habit 2 because now we're into habit 3. That's just kind of the cherry on top if you can apply that to organizations and to your family. Man, I'm so pumped to get into the next few things. I know this was a short episode, but the idea being here, the takeaway for me is like, at least this was an idea that popped into my head, was when the goals for the roles in your life stem from your mission statement, who you are as a person and what you are about. Everything is different about how you set those goals and the results that you'll get from them. When they are based on an unchanging core, then who you become in the process of achieving those goals gets you closer to your ideal self. Thanks for listening and watching today, guys. I know this is a short one. If you liked how short it was and that it saves you time, it's a quick little gym session that can get you oriented towards the things that matter most. Hopefully either before or after you read your book of scripture or whatever is even more important than listening to me. Unless listening to me leads you to do those other things, then I'm just grateful for you tuning in. Make sure you leave a 5-star review on Spotify. You can find it clicking a little in the top left, right under my picture there. Please leave a 5-star review if you can, and 5-star on Apple. I'd really appreciate it if you found this stuff useful or helpful. And reach out to me in the comments of the YouTube video for anything that you're learning. I really would appreciate it, guys. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you guys on the next one where we get into habit 3, the bridge between the dreams and the reality.